Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing? Hope everybody's doing well. This will be, I believe, I have one video, but I'm gonna remove it, and this might be my first. I'm gonna make this my first video in a series of video on my new YouTube channel called Luke and Jay Spiritual Journey, Bible Inspired. So good morning to all. Welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are gonna subscribe, like, and continue to watch. The topics that I'll be covering is based on the Bible. That's why it's called Bible Inspired. And the reason why I'm using the Bible, because that's predominantly the religious book that I'm more familiar with. I'm not too familiar with the Quran or the texts that they may have out there. So I'm going to use what I'm familiar with. So as I was driving up this morning, and I started thinking to myself, like, what is our purpose in life? Why are we here, right? Why are we on this earth? What's the reason for us being there? Morning, brother Nick. Morning. I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, it was just accidental.
Oh, okay.
Sound like you're on the train. Okay. All right. Get.
The volume was down on my phone. I just reached my bag and sort of just walked.
Yeah, it was an accidental. I pick up the phone, yeah, and then
No worries.
yeah. All right.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm in Newburgh right now.
Oh, you're really
Yeah, I have to leave early to beat the traffic.
going?
No, nothing. Just to beat the traffic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the monthly check. So I try to leave early to beat the traffic. If not, it would take me an hour, 12 minutes, hour 12 to 15 minutes to get there. But if I wait for the traffic, it will take me about 2 hours.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a long way. All right, talk to you in a bit.
Let me know if you need
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right,
Bye. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't want to stop the video since I'd already started. I don't do any editing. I just keep the video as raw as it is. Whatever happens in the video happens in the video. Sorry about that. Anyway, back to the topic. Why are we here? What is our purpose for being in this world? And the more I think of that question, the more I'm looking at all the things that surround us, all the things that we surround ourselves with, like our vehicles, our houses, our friends, our family, everything that we surround ourselves with becomes null and void once we pass away, right? Once we are dead, everything becomes null and void. So if we are living on this earth, but everything that we have is useless to us after death, what is our purpose for being here, right? And that's the question I'm trying to get answers to. And the more I think about it, I'm getting answers in my head, coming in my head, and answers I'm getting is stuff like, maybe the only reason why we are there is for the sole purpose, pun intended, for our souls. So our souls is what's in here, inside our conscious. Everything that that we communicate is up here. And once we die and this thing no longer functions, then the soul is gone and we're done. The body's done and nothing else you could do. I started doing a little research on if the heart stops beating, does the body dies? And the research is showing no. Why? Because after somebody had died, you could use an AED, you could use CPR to bring that person back to life. And I'm like, why would the person come back to life if the heart stopped, right? Because the heart is a very vital part of organ that keeps the body alive. And then as I keep doing the research further, I realize that if the brain is still active, then the heart can come back to life. But if the heart stops and the brain stops functioning, then we're done. So there must be something in here, because your heart could stop, your brain could still be functioning, and then they can still bring you back to life. But if your brain stops, they cannot bring you back to life, right? The brain is dead. So it had me thinking, so maybe whatever it is that is vital to our being the most important thing is up here in our brain, our conscious, our conscious, our subconscious, everything is up here. And if that's the case, then the soul is up here. I've had discussion, especially with my wife. We always have some strange discussions. I was trying to figure out, and I asked her straight up, like she would say something to me. I'm like, why you say this thing, right? And she said, oh, I don't know. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, listen, you could think about a lot of things like we all do. We think a lot of things come into our brain, a lot of things come into our consciousness, but we don't have to say it and we don't have to act upon it, right? We have to analyze it first before we speak about it or before we act upon it, right? And to me, that's one of the main differences between somebody we consider to be sane and somebody we consider to be insane. The person who can actually slow down whatever thoughts come into their mind, because you have no control over what comes into your mind. Why? Because they have other forces at play here. So you have no control over what comes into your mind. You have no control what comes into your brain, into your consciousness, into your subconsciousness. You don't have control over that. But you do have control over how you act, how you behave. And to me, that is part of the reason that we are here. We have a lot of persons who goes to church and they believe in God, they believe in Jesus Christ, they believe in Muhammad, they believe in Moses, whatever they believe in, right? It means that we believe, no matter what religion somebody is in, they do believe that there is life after death. And if there is life after death, but nobody knows that for sure, because nobody has come back and say, hey, by the way, there's a beautiful thing over there, right? Nobody has come back to life and say these things. They might say they see the light, whatever. So if we believe that there is life after death, why are we concentrating so much on earthly wealth? Why are we concentrating so much on pleasing the people around us? Why are we concentrating so much on having the most beautiful car, the most expensive vehicle? Why are we concentrating on piling up as much money as possible? Why are we concentrating on having a beautiful house because our friends have a beautiful house? Who are we trying to impress with those things? Who are we trying to show that we have value? And that value, if it's an earthly value and you believe in life after death, how does that value that you treasure on earth, how does that translate to your afterlife? If you believe there is an afterlife, how does that translate to your afterlife? It does not, as far as I've seen. It does not translate to your afterlife. So I believe that, in my personal opinion, I think people should concentrate a lot more on how they want to be in the afterlife. How would you want to be in the afterlife? If your soul is important to you, if your soul is alive and your soul don't die, because we can identify, with our consciousness. If the soul is alive and the soul never dies, then that's what we have to concentrate on. And that's maybe the main reason why we're here. Maybe the main reason is because of our soul. And maybe because our soul, something or someone is fighting for that soul. And if we go to the Bible, as I said, this thing is Bible inspired, we would know that in the Bible it talks about after you die, your soul goes back to the Maker. And who's the Maker? The Maker is God. The Bible talks about gods, right? So if your soul, when you die, goes to the Maker, goes up to the Maker decides what direction they're going to send you. So based on how you live your life while you were in that body, while your soul was in your brain, in your head, and your body was alive, and based on how you lived, will determine what direction, after you go back to the Maker, will determine what direction the Maker is going to send you, right? Is either you're going to have eternal life or you're going to have eternal death, right? But either way, your soul will still be alive. So whether you're living in eternal life or you live in eternal death, your soul will still be alive regardless of where you go. And that takes me to the next point of who's in charge of death. right? Who's responsible for death, right? And I remember that there is a story in the Bible. I can't tell you guys, I don't know too much about like how to give you the quotes and stuff, but you guys can always Google the stuff, right? There's a story about Job and in the Bible, and Job was tested, right? And Job was tested by not by God, but by Satan, which is the angel of death, right? I call him the angel of death. You guys can call him whatever you want. So Job was tested in the Bible by him, and God only gave God say, listen, my boy Satan, you could do whatever you want with Job. You could do whatever you want with Job. Do whatever you want, but just don't kill him. Don't kill Job. And that's when, in that part of the Bible, I realized that whether you want to call him Satan, the devil, the serpent, whatever you want to call him, right? The bad guy, whatever you want to call him, now I realize that he has just as much power to take life as God has power to take life. And the only main difference between the angel, Satan, or if you want to call him a god, because he's like a god, is kind of like a god because he tried to take over heaven with 1/3 of the angels, and they were kicked out of heaven. But that's a different topic for another day. I'll get back into this one, but I'll mention it in this piece a little bit. So if Satan, Lucifer, the devil, whatever you want to call him, has the power to take life, then it means that this life that we have, this soul that we have, is very important, not just to one God, but to more than one God, including Satan. And the question is, how do we determine where we want our soul to go? And the Bible is going to tell you, right? If you move from the Old Testament to the New Testament, John 3:16 tells you. I remember John 3:16 a little bit. I don't know why it comes to mind. I don't really read the Bible as much. But John 3:16 tells you, right? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him will live forever. Will not perish, but have everlasting life, right? Something to that effect. You can look it up. So if that's the case, then there is everlasting life. There is an eternal life. And if God was telling Satan, don't kill Job, that means there is an everlasting death. And to talk a little more about Lucifer, the angel of death, in the Bible it talks about how he had a rebellious against God. He tried to rebel against God, which is maybe he's the main God. I don't know. The Bible doesn't really clearly say how many gods are there. It's just talk about gods, right? So I take it that as in anything else, you're going to have a leader. As in anything, you're going to have a leader and you're going to have followers, right? And you're going to have people at different levels of hierarchy. And maybe the main God is the one that Lucifer tried to go after, right? And if the main God is what Lucifer tried to go after, and he was unsuccessful, but he was able, just imagine that, you have all these angels, all these gods. Lucifer was able to convince 1/3 of the angels to help him overthrow that main guy. It's like a coup. Do we see that happening today? Yeah, we see that every day. We see coups happening every day. We see people try to overthrow people every day. And that takes me to the next point, where I'm saying that the Bible, again, I was supposed to make that point in the beginning, but I'm just going out of, just shooting the breeze. The Bible is one of the books that the only book that I know of that has the past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. The Bible is the only book I know like this. If you want to know what's going to happen in the future, read the Bible. If you want to know what's going to happen now, read the Bible. If you want to know what happened in the past, read the Bible. They have a lot of messages, and I'll get to a few of them as time goes by. So, going back to the angel of death, or Lucifer, or the devil, or Satan, whatever you want to call it, he was able to convince 1/3 of the angels to come with him to overthrow the big guy. And he was not successful. And he was cast down from heaven to earth. where he's still causing his destruction. So to end this piece, and I'll pick up on that at a different time, it means that, for me personally, it means that two-thirds of the angels stayed with the main guy. Two-thirds of the angels stayed with God, with that main God. And 1/3 went with Lucifer, which means that Lucifer has 1/3 of the angels working with him to try and gather as many souls as he possibly can. But the good news is the other guy has 2/3 of the angel with him also working on his behalf. So the question is, at the end of the day, I ask, why are we here? What is our purpose for here? If you believe there is life after death, then you have to make a decision. Do you want to be in the 2/3, or do you want to be in the 1/3? It's a choice that everybody has to make for themselves, right? For those of you who believe in life after death. If you believe there is life after death because we have a soul, then you have to decide, do I want to be with the 2/3, or do I want to be with the 1/3? But it's a personal choice. It's a personal preference. You know, you make that choice. You decide what you want to do. Nobody's going to decide that for you, right? Nobody's going to tell you you should or shouldn't, right? I don't think I'm in a position to do that. I don't think I should do that. I just want to turn around, guys, just to show you all that beautiful sun rising as I'm having this conversation with you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that beautiful sun over there. Let me show you guys that beautiful sun rising over there. Look at that beautiful sunrise. Look at this, right? And as I'm having this conversation with you guys, here's what's happening now. You got a beautiful tree, and you got a beautiful sunrise. Beautiful, right? So yeah, so with that said, guys, I appreciate you guys staying with me. I appreciate you guys listening to me, and I hope that, you know, you guys don't take offense to what I just said. I hope you guys can help make your own decision as to what you all want to do. Right, my hat just fell, I gotta pick it up. Yeah, so you guys decide, and then you guys can also leave me comments on that. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if that is even a valid point at all, right? And my next video, this was just an introduction. Yeah, long introduction, isn't it? Yeah, I know. But this was more like an introduction to my video, my YouTube channel. All right, Luke and Jay's spiritual journey, Bible inspired. And what I'm gonna do, the next video I do, I'm gonna try to go back to Genesis and start with Genesis. And you know, I'll be bouncing between the different books in the Bible, but I want to start the next video about Genesis. So thank you guys for viewing. Thank you guys. Leave comments, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you ever thought about the reason why we are here. What's our purpose on this earth? And if any of the points that I make, if it resonates with you guys, or if it's even valid at all, right? I'm just sharing my personal opinion with you guys. I'm just sharing my personal feelings about these things with you guys. So with that said, guys, have a wonderful day, have a blessed day, have a great day, great week. Today is Tuesday, December 12th. Tuesday, December 12th. Right now I'm in Newburgh, New York. I just arrived here. I came from Queens, New York. I just arrived here this morning. So thank you guys for viewing. Have a wonderful day, guys. Talk to you on the rebound. Thank you, guys.